Okay, let's get started. This is an example to create a data table, and for this example we're going to be using Microsoft Excel 2003. There are other videos showing how to do this with other software packages. I've outlined the steps here, more or less. Some of them might change a little bit as we go along. Here's the idea. So we're going to create a table similar to the summer homework assignment. So I'll start with that. I'll start with some column headings. So we'll have x, and then maybe we'll plot the function y equals 5x cubed. And to do that, you might want to take a look at this. We'll just format cells. Let's see, we want a superscript. Okay. So we get 5x cubed here, and maybe we'll do y equals sine of x, just to show that we can do that sort of thing. Maybe even 3 times the sine of x, 3 sine x. So that would look like that if we were writing it on paper. And finally, we put in height values. This was one of the things for the summer homework assignment. We'll make this column a little wider there. Okay, so that was enter column headings. Let's make these bold. Like this, just so they're more visible. And we like them centered, so I'll just center them like that. And next thing is we'd like to underline them just to show that that's the heading. So I choose this as the idea, and then it goes like that. That way, these are the data values underneath. Let's start now with entering a formula in the first cell of the column. Well, actually, x would start at 0 in our usual examples, like this. And then the next cell, we want to say, that cell we want the computer to compute something. We could type in 0.5 and then 1 and then 1.5 and such. But for this, we'd like the computer to do the work, so we tell it to compute something by starting with an equal sign. And once we've done that, we can tell it to compute. We want the previous value, which is referred to as A15. Here's A and row 15. So this symbol right here, A15, refers to the value that's in cell A15. So it says take the cell, whatever's in value A15, and add 0.5 to it. That's the increment that we want. Whoops, I didn't type that right. 0.5, there we go. And then we hit enter, and it computes it for us, which is not a big surprise. But here's the nice part. Now we can duplicate down to compute all the values. We want to go all the way up to 5 from 0.5. So if I drag this down about this far, I've gone too far, I can see. So I will just clear these, clear contents there. All right, so here is our first set of data. I'm going to center it just to make it look pretty. And I'm going to format it, format cells, and I would like the number to go to 2 decimal places, we'll say. So I'll say OK. And now they all look uniform. It's much easier to read that way. Now we're going to go again for the next column. We'll enter the formula. The formula, we don't type y equals 5x squared. We just type equals. That tells the computer to calculate something. And we're going to say 5 times x cubed. That's what we're doing. So the value of x corresponding to this row is this number, A15 again. And we could type for x cubed, we could type A15 times A15 times A15. But it's a lot easier to just type up arrow 3, and that means to the 3rd power. So for squared, you do up arrow 2. For the square root, you could do up arrow 0.5. We hit enter, and of course 5 times 0 cubed is 0. But now, again, we take the duplicate form by clicking on the cell and taking the cursor over to the lower right corner, holding down the mouse and dragging down, and we get these. These are the computed values of 5x cubed. Again, we'd like that to look nicer, so we say format cells, number, and 2. We could change it to 3 decimal places or 1, but let's just leave it at 2 for now. So I'm going to say OK. And now we get these, and again, we'd like these centered, would look a little better. There's actually ways to make this even better. I suppose with decimal places there, you probably want it to the right like that, so that would make more sense. Now let's do the same thing with this one. Again, we start with the equal sign. That's 3 times There are a number of functions built into these spreadsheets. One of them is sign. So if it's an actual function, when you type it in and put a parentheses, it'll come up with a prompt like that. You can even click on this to get help in terms of what the function does. But in this case, we want to take the sign of x, and again, the value of x for this row is this number over here, so I'll just click that. It's A15 again. Close parentheses and hit enter, and it computes the sign of 3 times 0, 3 times the sign of 0, and that is 0. But now we can do this duplicate thing again by selecting the cell and bringing it over to the lower right and dragging down, and we get these values. And these look like they could use a few more decimal places, so let's go to Format Cells, Number, and we'll bring this out to 3 decimal places, and I'll say OK. And now we, of course, want to right justify those, so now we can read them more easily. And finally, the height values from the summer homework. I'll just type these in and see how it goes. If I can do this, 25, and then we have 24.3, 24.4, 23.4, 21.7, 19.3, this is very laborious, 17.1, probably even more boring to watch, 0.9, 11.4, 7.9, and 3.9. There we go. Okay, and again, just to make these uniform, we will format the cell. The number should be to 2 decimal places. I mean, it could be anything we want. We'll just make it to like that, and then we will right justify to make it all look pretty. So we've typed in the non-specific non-computed values. We have to actually type these in. We can't compute them because they're from data points. And finally, if you're going to transfer this to a Word document, for example, you might want the rows and columns to have borders on them. So you select the entire table, come over here, and you can see that the one to choose is this. So by doing this, when you select all this, cut and paste it into a Word document, you'll then have the boundaries around it. So it'll make it look a little better when it's in your printed document. And that's the story on creating a data table using Microsoft Excel.